This meeting is now being recorded.
Oh, hell.
No.
Let me grab my headset real quick.
This meeting is being recorded in front of a live audience.
Need
Does that
a
mean
laugh
we got-
clap.
Do we need a laugh track?
If you'd like
Only
to
when I
interrupt the
enter-
presentation, please raise your hand.
Aliana, you spend way too much time on meetings.
How come when I say nudes, suddenly everybody joins?
You mentioned prizes.
Monthly
Have
server
you-
meetings. This
have
is a new
you-
thing.
You did mention.
Have you
prizes.
met, half the people you have in the server at all? T?
This is
Talked
true.
to them? I mean, hell, you and Zap trade, midget porn all the time. Don't you expect this at least? My dear God.
Very true. All right, one
I
final
think-
thing. I can't find my headphone wire. Forgive me, we just moved into this house and I don't know where all my shit is.
Where's my snare? Can't hear my snare.
Oh, by the way,
Good
Hannah,
God.
sorry for your inconvenience a second ago.
Some pine punch.
It happens, man. No worries.
They were dead straight on it, and I didn't want to argue. If they wanted it back that bad, I would have gave it.
So what do y'all discuss during server meetings?
We do have a loose agenda. It's mostly things that have come up over the course of the month. Things like where there's been a misunderstanding or overall confusion that's been mirrored by many players, and then after that's kind of an open forum.
Very awesome.
Be cocaine and hookers.
Followed
And
by
that
cocaine
too.
and hooker.
What about the food? Right?
I mean,
Oh
that's
gosh.
just the
Oh,
snacks.
We
I'm here for the food. Someone told me there was going to be coffee and donuts.
Open bar? Yeah.
Cocaine's a part of the 4 food group, so
The results came back, and we found out that that's a lie.
Oh, fuck. All right, well, I'll still be here. Just in case.
If you are open mic though, just a heads up, please make sure you're muted if you have any kind of background noise. Otherwise, we end up having to mute you in the middle of the meeting, and that's no good. We're just waiting on T-Bird to settle in, and we'll get started.
All right, so life pro tip, when you can't find your headphone wire, maybe try looking inside the headphone case.
When?
Some of us just ain't that organized, sir.
Obviously, I'm not either.
that's why I gotta get Bluetooth. My Bluetooth.
You could always just get on Jack's level and get those wireless headsets.
I bought a pair, but they weren't comfortable.
Oh, I love mine. Absolutely love mine.
Which ones you get?
I start out with the SteelSeries Arctic 7s.
Yeah.
And I moved up because I found them comfortable and I wanted the better set to the Arctic Pro wireless.
Okay. See, I got the Corsair, the like $200 and some ones, and for some reason, it just killed my left ear. I run Astros right now, but not the wireless. I run the
All
840.
right, testing.
So,
You guys.
Test received over.
All right, 10-4.
all right, go on mute.
Okay, so let me pull up my notes here, and we will get this started. Sorry about the delay. I've been cutting down trees all day and all night. Not in Rust.
Oh. Lovely.
Yeah, I'm a Z level 1 in real life. So
I don't know. I saw that amount of trees. You're at least got like up to Z level 5. in
yeah,
real
there
life
was
for
there
that.
was probably about 75 to 100 saplings back there.
Yeah, Z level 5 and back pain level 15.
Wait till you see it tomorrow, though. It's too dark right now. We just finished up. I'll post a picture tomorrow. It looks great.
Like, are you
Okay.
tray to get cords together or
No.
just clear
I
it?
have this big hill behind my house. We just bought this house, and the pine saplings are about 20 feet tall. So they're big enough that it's hard work, but they're small enough that you could without hiring a professional.
Nice.
There's about 100 of them back there, and they're close enough to my house that when they're full grown, they're all going to be a danger to the house. So I just clear cut the whole damn thing. Pain in the ass. Anyway, yeah. So on to the meeting. Got my notes here. All right. So as Aliana was telling you guys, we have a channel that you can all type in. I'm watching that channel on one monitor. So you can kid around, you can joke, you can have fun. You don't have to be all serious in it, nothing like that. But when we get to the end, when I take questions and stuff from people, let's slow it down in that channel a little bit so I can not lose the questions. But for now, feel free to crack jokes about me or, talk about my mama or whatever you want to do. Have some fun. Also, if everybody could just keep quiet during the meeting. Looks like most of you have your stuff muted anyway, so that's fine. Staff included. Obviously, if you guys really have something important to jump in, feel free to jump in. Me and Drac typically step on each other through the entire meeting anyway, so no big deal. And then what I'll do is I'll say what I have to say. Then I'll let the staff say things they need to say, and then we'll move on to the players, and then we'll figure out how to get you guys some cool prizes. Also, Educated Penguin. I have a special gift for you later. Don't let me forget. And not a bad one, so don't take that the wrong way. Okay, so on to the meeting. I'm not a very organized person or very good about this kind of stuff, so I just really just kind of go down my notes. I keep notes throughout the month on things that I want to say at the meeting, so I just kind of go down that list. And also in the beginning, I kind of give like a little state of the server, which there's not really much to say. Things have been going good. As you guys have noticed, Pop's been down a little bit lately. There's nothing to be concerned about. It usually happens this time of year anyways. I think this time last year we had, max of 45 players. So the fact that we're breaking, 115, October, November, things are fine. I don't know how long some of you have been around, but this is a normal phase of the server. Nessus, can you mute your mic? You keep activating. This is a normal phase of the server, so nothing to be concerned with. Sometimes it picks up a little bit more around Christmas time, then it dies back down again in the spring. Especially with COVID and stuff, I'm thinking a lot of people are finally getting back to real life and realizing that their 6-month vacation is over and they got a little less time to video game. So no big deal. Everything seems to be good. The population is actually a lot higher than I expected it to be this time of year. Next month should be good. And as you guys know, at the end of the month is usually when the population is the lowest. Sometimes we have 20 players 2 days before the final wipe. So that's no big deal either. Next month should be pretty fun. I've already converted all the NPCs and stuff over to the Christmas version. I'm sure you guys might have noticed that. And when you die and you respawn, you'll spawn as like an elf. We have all kinds of other treats in store for December. I know technically today is December. I'm a little behind just because of this real life house thing I'm doing here. But December's going to be a lot of fun. We like to do a lot of things. December's the one time of the year that I don't mind you guys getting tons of free shit. So we'll be passing out gifts and doing all kinds of fun things throughout the entire month. I also try to customize our maps to be a little more Christmassy. I've already started working on the next map. I'm not as far along as I wanted it to be. So, there'll be a lot of snow, a lot of weird decorations around the map, stuff like that. And all the NPCs, of course, will be all Christmas based. So fix the TP core. Yeah, we're taking suggestions later. And I don't work on raid basis plugin. Anyway, so on with the state of the server. Other than that, everything looks good. Donations actually were really great in September and October. They've drastically died off in November, but I'm assuming everybody's getting back to real life and stuff like that. Nothing big, nothing bad to where the server's about to sink. So we're doing fine with that. Financially, everything's good. I've bought us some more base maps. I don't know if you guys know how I do things, but I usually buy us a base map and then I do a lot of customizations and alterations and add new monuments and stuff like that. So I've bought us a couple more maps. I've got about 20 new custom monuments ready for us. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming in the future. I try to at least do one new map a month if I can. I do have a fantasy map set for you guys next month. That'll be dropping on December 26th, the day after Christmas. So you guys wake up, have a good Christmas. By the time you get bored, on Christmas Day, it'll turn PvP. So you can dish your family, come on here and kill some people, and then wake up the day after Christmas to a nice fresh wipe with a fantasy map. So that'll be fun. Okay, so on to my notes. Explain once again support bot versus Zombot. Okay, so just in case nobody knows, support bot is, for emergencies, 911, help me, I've fallen under the map. I demand compensation, stuff like that. It's stuff that has to be an admin. It cannot be, there's no physical way any other person can help you except an admin. The Zombot is for everything else. Even if you think you may need an admin, if it's not an emergency, try the Zombot first. They can always escalate it up to us. I've fallen. Zombot would be life alert. Anyway, so just always try Zombot first. Those player volunteers are kicking ass. They're a huge help to us as staff. They're the reason I could be out there dealing with trees all day today, is because we have the sentinels that are volunteered, to help answer questions that normally I'd have to sit around and answer all day. So they're a huge help. So always try that one first. You'd be surprised how many things that they can help you with, and they don't need to go to an admin. All right, so my next note, give me 1 second. This is a really long note, so let me browse over it real quick, make sure I'm not going to say something stupid. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll just read this one out loud then. So my next note was, we need to cut back on admins constantly watching chat. We need the veteran players to step up and fill this role. This is also the number one factor we look for when we're considering future staff members, is basically how you deal with the community in game. We pay attention to how you treat others, and who the people are that are always answering questions and trying to help people out. And it's not really about, such and such gate, gives every new player a bunch of AKs and stuff. It's not really about that. It's more of just, being friendly, being helpful, answering people's questions and stuff. It really takes a huge load off our shoulders. Basically, we've been burning out our staff, and we have a really high turnover rate, as you guys have probably noticed. This is due to the extreme amount of attention that they have to pay to server chat, players asking easy questions that anyone can answer, players needing help or tips that anyone could have provided, players asking for help from an admin for things we don't even support, corpse recovery, stuff like that. Players asking for admins that are things that are just normal Rust problems that nothing we can do about, or known issues that players could have easily answered long before it got to an admin or somebody putting in a support ticket. So it's a good example. Help. I got in my minicopter and I'm stuck facing backwards now. Any of you guys that have played, for at least a month or so can easily answer that and say, oh, you must have flown into a bubble, just the typical stuff like that. Help, I died inside a raid and now I can't find my bag. Hey, did you check outside the bubble? They push your bag out of the bubble so that you don't get locked from not being able to get your stuff back. So there's just so many things that you guys could really answer that would give us a huge, I get that. I know you're pissed off that raid bases are buggy. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, so there's so many things that you guys can help with answering questions for these players that, you've all dealt with before. It takes a huge load off our shoulders. My note continues on to say, basically, we just need to ease up on the staff. We try to provide 24/7 support. We've done a good job of that for a long time. We'll always try to do so, but I'm having to hire admins faster than I can change my underwear because we are just burning them out. So I'm working on getting them to let up off the reins a little bit so they can go back to enjoying Rust again. So basically, in our last staff meeting, I told the staff that I actually want them to back off a little bit on constantly manning the server. If you guys haven't noticed, there's been less staff presence lately. That's actually on purpose. Our turnover rate is just way too high. People are getting burned out so quick. It's real stressful. As Penguin and Aliana, you guys can vouch for me on that. It can be real stressful being at staff sometimes. And it really puts a bad taste in staff's mouth and makes them not want to even log in or play Rust anymore because it can be a nightmare sometimes. It really can. So I've asked them to actually step back a little bit and chill so they don't burn themselves out. Because I like the staff we have. I don't want to lose any more. So that's where we stand with that. My next note says give props to the Sentinels, but I already did that. So props to you guys. I don't even see, are there any even on right now? Let's see. I don't even think I see any Sentinels in here. All right, my next note Okay, touch with all the players on what exactly admins will or even can help with. Uh, we do not help with normal game mechanics, even glitchy ones. It's a good point to make is, this is Rust. There's a lot of bugs. There's a lot of things that don't work right in this game. And we're not here to help with those things. Obviously, if it's something that we can help with, let's say, you died and your bag actually glitched under the map, which, by the way, is one of the most reported things we have. And I think I've only seen it happen once in my entire life on this server. So it's not a very common thing, but stuff like that we can help with is a Rust bug, is some kind of glitch. Or here's a good one. You remember like 3 months ago, they did an update that somehow changed the textures or the meshes on things to where you could be pushed through stuff real easily. People were always getting pushed through their walls, from their airlock doors, and help, I'm stuck inside my own walls, stuff like that. That is actually a Rust bug. It wasn't our bug. It wasn't anything we did wrong, but we still, would help with that because, it's stupid. It doesn't hurt me to go click one single button to get you out of your wall. But technically we don't help with stuff like that. That's not our issue. We only help with things that are caused by stuff that we've done, which would be plugins, map, stuff like that. We don't help with stuck vehicles. We get people all the time submitting a support ticket. Help, I crashed my car into the river. Can you get it out? No, we can't. That's part of Rust. Learn how to drive. The inability to solve monument puzzles, I'm not going to lie, is driving me absolutely nuts. I purposely make some of our puzzles pretty difficult. I don't know if anybody solved the Cobalt City on this map, but it's pretty complex. You got to go hit, a green card on one end of the entire city and put a fuse in there. And then you got to go all the way to the other end of the city, put a blue card door or hit a blue card door, put a fuse in there. You got to go all the way to the other side of the city. And there's a red card. It's complicated. And people, their first reaction when they come across stuff like that is to put a support ticket in. This isn't working. This door won't open. We test these maps for weeks and weeks before we go live. And yeah, every now and then FacePunch will break stuff. So, if it's after the force wipe, I don't really mind you guys submitting tickets about stuff like that because, like I said, FacePunch does break stuff. But if we're 2-3 wipes into the month, you don't need to submit a support ticket. It works. If it doesn't work, it'll be posted in known issues or in, announcements or something. But just when we tell you something works, trust us, it works. Usually the more complicated monuments, I run at least 1 or 2 staff members through them before we go live so that they can answer to it. I think was it you, Mac? Is Mac even in here? No, he's not in here. I think it was Mac. I on the test server ran him through every single bit of that city on this map just to make sure. And for the specific reason, I said, I guarantee you're going to get a support ticket that they can't solve this puzzle. So, we don't help with that kind of stuff. It's supposed to be difficult. If you can't solve it, go do something else. It's meant to be difficult. That's the way we like it. We also don't deal with player politics. If you're going to submit a support ticket and tell me that somebody incited you, go ahead and just stop submitting the support ticket. I don't care. It's not my place. If you let someone into your team and they loot your stuff and run off with it, that's your own problem. That's part of Rust. It's, again, goes back to the foundation here. If it's not our map and it's not our plugins causing the problem, we don't support it. It's not our place to support. You pick your teammates better, pick your clanmates better. I know stealing is against our rules, but technically that's not stealing. As a police officer, when I responded to, arguments about, this person, I don't want them in my house, blah, blah, blah. And if that person had a key to the house, I left. Code 32, not my problem. That's what code 32 means. Not my problem. I left. If you're a key holder, you're not breaking into this house, so it's not my problem. And that's the same way I deal with stuff here. If you give someone the keys to your base and they rob you blind, man, that's your problem. You shouldn't have given them the keys to your base. I don't know how you made that, but that is awesome. Where did you get that? Or you must have had like a meme generator? Because that's a department specific code. Yeah, you had to have used a meme. You had to have used a meme generator. You're messing with me. Code 32 actually means civil matter because you get a call like, oh, I kicked them out and they took the TV, but I paid for the TV. Ma'am, that's code 32. That's a civil matter. That's not police. Anyway, Briscoe, you're awesome. I love you, man. So anyway, we don't deal with that kind of stuff, player politics, or any other kind of player thing. It's just if you guys do something as a Rust player, even if it's a dumb Rust thing that shouldn't work the way it does, but it does. If it's not our plugin and it's not our map, we don't deal with it.
Just
Moving
get
on
their
to
names, their position of the new base, and then deal with it on PvP day.
there you go. Moving on to the next note. So I need to give a definition of what exploiting is. Exploiting is when you use any means, whether it be a glitch, an error in my configurations, a bug, or just anything that is very obviously not meant to be possible to gain advantage for yourself or others. That's exploiting, and it is extremely bannable. A good example, when I put invisible barriers all the way around Zombie Island to prevent players from flying up and taking 8 elite crates without having to fight their way through the entire monument, it's pretty obvious that I don't want you flying a minicopter up to the top of Zombie Island to take 8 elite crates without fighting your way through the monument, right? So when you somehow shimmy your way in between those invisible barriers and spawn your own personal minicopter and then fly up there and steal the loot, you're exploiting, period. I shouldn't even have to give that example or say this. If you're using a glitch, a bug, or even a fuck up in my design to do something you know should not be done that way, you're exploiting and you will be banned off my server. That's cheating. I make this stuff and I work really hard to make this stuff hard for you guys. If you're going to circumvent it or try to, oh, look, I'm smarter than T, I figured a way. No, you're not smarter than me. You're just an asshole. I have a full-time job. I don't have time to think of every little way that you can try to get around what I do. So if you're exploiting, you will be banned. And yes, I did say the F word. You log into this game and see genitals, you can hear the F word. So
to piggyback off one thing that T said, if you find an exploit and you don't think we know about it, send it to support bot.
Oh, we reward you.
Report it to us.
I've given people 20,000 RP for showing me an exploit. We will absolutely reward you. So
don't announce it over general. Send it to us, please. Even if it's you don't, you're like, this might be an exploit. We may go, sure, we know about it. No, we don't know about it. But at least give us that option there.
And on a positive note,
do it and we find out that you've been doing it, then there's a problem.
See, Drex the mean admin, I'm not. So on a positive note, I'm thinking out of 10 exploits, 9 of them do get reported to us. And we've got some really honest players that come to us and show us stuff all the time. There's just that one out of the 10 that decides to abuse it that I'm bitching about right now. So don't take it too negative. You guys are actually really good people. 90% of y'all just, report the stuff to us, and we really appreciate that. I'm not a game designer, I'm a freaking retired cop. You're gonna find exploits, trust me. I'm not that good at this stuff. Literally a year and a half ago, I Googled how do I make a Rust server because I was pissed off at my server. So here we are.
I'm still up on you in bans this month, T, so I am the bad admin.
I keep trying to tell people you're the mean admin. Everybody's like, oh, Drag, let's worship Drag. I'm like, dude, he's the mean one. All right. Of course, you're the mean one because I try to force it on you. Sometimes we get a sticky situation. I'm like, I'll let Drag deal with it. Okay, so let me move on here.
The other thing is you never know if we already know about an exploit, and you could be getting caught doing the exploit that we already know about.
Yeah, we could always just watch. All right, so any changes we make are always in announcements or update log. You guys really, I know most people, as a matter of fact, I think I've done this on every Discord server I'm on. The first thing I do is right click and hit mute server. I know it's a pain in the ass, but on this server, you should really do the opposite. Not mute the server. Just go through and mute all our dumbass channels. I don't blame you for that. But leave announcements and update log unmuted because you'd be surprised. I don't change anything without letting you guys know. You're not going to get spammed if you leave those channels unmuted. I don't post there very often. Announcements is for important stuff. Update log, I do even minor changes. If I drop the accuracy of scientists at a monument, I'll put it there and let you guys know. So anything we do, we always post there. You'd be surprised how many people ask questions that are already answered in those 2 channels. The known issues channel would also be another great one to keep unmuted. I rarely post there, but when I do, it's it's important stuff. At least you know ahead of time. Oh, that's a known issue. Yep, my next note, this is a double note. We do not assist with normal game drama such as inciting. Well, we already touched on that one, so. Everybody make sure you have read the deployable limits. We're actually going to make a separate channel, kind of branch that out of the rules channel. Because right now, if you go to rules, you scroll up, you'll see a link, and the link goes back to where we set those limits. I think we're going to make a separate channel, kind of like the rules channel is, where it just lists all the deployable limits. The fact that we even have those makes me feel like a total dick. I mean, you can ask Drac back in the day when we first started discussing these things. We really, I think the most heated arguing the admins have ever done amongst themselves was over deployable limits. I was actually highly against it at all. Voodoo was very for a pretty thick list of deployable limits. And we all kind of met in the middle eventually, but it was real heated. So, and we still argue about it to this day. We do not like having to do that to you guys. We want this to be, a free place to play a game and have fun. We don't want to sit there and be restrictive. But the real thing that finally puts us to that limit is when you are affecting the gameplay of others or preventing people from playing on our server, then that's when we have to step in. And some of these people, carpeting their entire base with rugs. Sorry, let me mute my phone. Carpeting their base with rugs and doing all kinds of shit like that. You guys are stopping other people from even being able to play on our server. So that's why we have to step in like that. Again, I feel like a total jerk for making deployable limits, but that's the reason we do it. And as people keep getting obnoxious with other things, we're going to have to add other things to it. Like the searchlights, we had to add those now because people were dropping 12, 15 searchlights on their base, which is just obnoxious. And even I'm on a 2080 Ti, with 128 gigs of DDR4, and I get around a dozen searchlights and my frame rates just drop to like 5. So that's just ridiculous. And there's no point for that other than annoying your neighbors. There is no point to the searchlights in this game. Let's see. Oh, take your walls with you after you raid some more bases. Yeah, I say this every meeting. When the raid bases, like, I have a command I can type in game, and it overlays this grid across the entire map as far as I can see in every direction, and it shows me little tiny X's in all the places that a raid base can spawn. If you plop down one high wall, there will now be a 75-meter radius, and you guys all remember from geometry class, a radius is just half the circle. There will be a 75-meter radius or 150-meter diameter circle around that wall where no bases can spawn now. So if you plop down a foundation, same thing. If you plop down, a tombstone, just because you found one in the box and you're like, I don't need this. Let me just plop it somewhere just because it looks cool. There's now a 150-meter diameter around that tombstone that no raid bases can spawn. Anytime you put anything down that's player made or player deployed, you cannot spawn a raid base now for 150 meters around that spot. So keep that in mind. When you're plopping down high walls and plopping down things, all you're doing is stopping raid bases from spawning, and then people get pissed when they all spawn on the beaches because that's the only flat open land left. The admins go around and patrol and try to remove this kind of crap. And honestly, I like Drac's idea. Drac started getting pissed off, and every time he goes around and cleans up high walls from somebody, he goes and sticks them down in front of that person's front door to their base. And I don't know if you guys realize
front
this.
door, vending machines. I'll put it in the most inconvenient spot known to man.
And you guys cannot /remove shit that we put down. So if you want to wake up and open your front door to find a high wall blocking you, keep leaving those things laying around the map.
Can I say something on that matter?
Yeah, in just a minute. Just write it down. We're going to get to the player questions in just a second. I promise I'm not going to forget you, Eternal. Because I just got to the end of my notes. Let me let these admins hit their thing, and we'll get on to the player questions. All right, so that's the end of my notes. Staff, anybody got something else?
I have a couple things.
There it goes. Get it, girl.
So we are going to be coming up on the holidays, and there's going to be lots of opportunity for everyone to do all their decorations. We don't have deployable limits on decorations. Try to not go completely buck wild. Everyone's going to have a tree. Everyone's going to have that stuff going on. If you end up having that many that is lagging people out, we'll have to put rules in place, and we really don't want to do that because we want everyone to be festive. So just keep it in reason, as we always say with any other deployable that doesn't have a limitation. but do try really hard not to lag people out. Same thing that I always say every meeting, don't build too close together, please. People still complain about that. It causes other problems like people dying in PvP zones that they didn't actually spawn because they're still playing inactive, but their neighbor's inactive. And the other thing I was going to say is we have had a huge increase of foreign players, which is awesome. It's really cool having all these different people from around the world play on the server. What I've noticed is that it can sometimes cause miscommunication issues and make people seem like they're intentionally going out of their way to screw you over when the reality is that they just didn't understand our rules. We're doing our best to bridge those gaps as we can, but you know, if you're talking to somebody and they don't seem to be understanding you or they're not responsive, it may not be just because they're being a dick. It may be because they actually can't understand you. And, you know, just do your best to be decent and we'll work it out when it gets to a point that you need to engage admins.
I gotta
that's
touch on.
basically it for me.
I gotta touch on something she said. I'm sure Drek's probably gonna jump in and touch on it too. Spread out, people. Like, I haven't said anything because my admins yelled at me because I was being too mean, bitching about it and posting pictures and calling people out on their builds. But spread out. Oh my God, I haven't been on the server much this week because, as you guys know, I've been on vacation, and then we just wiped it. It's just. It's ridiculous. Like you fly near a river and the bases are just all on top of each other. There's no reason for that. There's so much, like this map specifically. There's so many rivers. There's no point. All you guys are doing is lagging other players out. Then you're causing drama. Like if you know you don't log back in for 3 days and your base becomes a PvP raid base. That's part of the game. It's intended. It's not a bug, but it's still kind of a dick move. If you're going to play and you know you're not going to be around for a while, why do you need to build in the big populated areas? There's no point to that. We really need you people to spread out. I remember on Wipe Day, right before I left to go on vacation, I left that night, and I remember on Wipe Day, I think it was right here where I'm at right now. But
M7N8.
Yeah, I'm flying over it right now. Yeah, like down, yeah, like L8, L7, yeah. So on Wipe Day, literally wiped the server, started packing my truck up and getting all my suitcases ready. And I flew over this area and there were already bases on top of each other. I'm flying over it right now. And I must see 15 bases just in my field of view. It's just ridiculous. You guys got to spread out.
And it's not that we don't want you building next to your neighbors, your friends, and things like that, but there's an entire map
with a lot of content. So just please spread out. We've been saying this for 9 months now. It does nothing positive. It does a lot of negative to not spread out.
I did one more thing that C-Town reminded me of. On the subject of heli towers, if you're the kind of person who doesn't build towers for heli, you need to look around where you are before you engage. It's something that he had addressed about 3 meetings ago. He talked about how if you're seeing a bunch of wood buildings, don't put your heli tower there. And similarly, if you're planning on building yourself a wood building, don't build it where there's already a heli tower. Do your best to avoid that. When it comes to players getting their house destroyed with helicopters, we do our best to help out when we're involved or made aware, but it's really on our players to keep their helicopter in check, meaning don't crash on other people's houses, or if it does crash on your neighbor's house, don't steal their stuff. Put it in a box, let an admin know, and let us help bridge that gap and get that stuff back to that player.
Because, I mean, the side of that is if your house got broken because somebody dropped a heli on it, you'd be pissed off too. Just a little help, anything. Even if it was, the guy's house, somebody's house got broken, you put everything in a box, you see them log in the next day, they're not dead or something, and they're like, oh my house got destroyed. Hey, bud, I have all your stuff. Let me just return it to you. You'll be surprised how many people will be like, you did what? Wait, you saved my stuff? That's awesome. Thank you.
All right, any other admins have anything?
For me, thank you.
I mean, you already touched on the walls. Spread out, people. I love you. Hug your neighbors. Don't hug them with your building. I've seen a couple builds on the server this wipe. Guys, take a look at the build photos that we have for sizes, please. Some have been on that edge that I've looked at going, okay, it's not quite, but it's big. I'll keep an eye on it. yes, PvP, the days leading up to PvP were a little more lax on it. It doesn't mean we relax on it. So just keep an eye. Other than that, I really don't got anything. If you do see walls in front of your house, learn from it. Throw a support ticket in. We'll yell at you, finger wag a little bit, and then take it down.
All right. Any other admins got anything? Going once, going twice. All right. So we're gonna move to the last part, which will be player questions. So if everybody could slow down the chit chat in the server meeting text, so that my old ass can keep up.
First thing is first. Eternal, you had something.
Yeah, we'll let Eternal go first. So go ahead, Eternal.
I actually have two things. The first being, for anyone that doesn't know this, if you place a high external inside of the bubble when you're doing a hard raid or medium raid, whatever, to make sure that you can shoot at the NPCs, if you're inside the bubble, the high wall will despawn with the base when the base despawns.
Correct.
This is for anyone who has issues remembering, because Drac used to yell at me all the damn time for my walls months and months ago. But if you place them in the bubble, they will despawn with the base. So you don't have to worry about remembering, oh shit, did I, remove that wall?
Good tactic too, because then the plugin will remove it for you.
Yeah. And then
All right.
my second point is the reason why, and you see it a lot with this map because you have a lot of Bradley spawns that can't be moved. The reason why people are basing on top of each other is because of the Bradley spawns. Especially in the beginning of the wipe, people want to, kind of make sure they have a lockdown on those Bradleys. So, I mean, these people are there they have to be running timers, because by the time Bradley is getting ready to spawn, there's 3 or 4 people already waiting to shoot at the Bradley.
Which
So
is weird because Bradley's on a 30 to 90 minute random timer.
The other thing is our Bradley paths are dynamic. They change.
Yeah, but there are, he is right though. There are a couple, this map, some of our older maps have hard coded ones in them. This is one of them. There's like 3 on this map that are hard coded.
Yeah.
So some of the older maps.
Also, folks, just I love the fact you try to take Bradleys. I for those that have not heard, I'm usually the one that's trying to kill you with a Bradley.
You can control a Bradley?
No, he purposely puts them in places to try to get people jacked up.
Oh, gotcha. Thanks.
When you see a river Bradley, that's Drac trying to get you killed.
Oh, usually he's just helping me. Yeah.
But just a couple little things, guys. If you're gonna build a base, take a Bradley, build a base, take it down. Because, guess what? You're just taking up land. You're taking up land for people to actually build, for people that may want to actually build there. Second, I move them. I move them for a reason. I will go out of my way to move them. So if I see there's 8 Bradley bases along one road, you may never see a Bradley on that road again.
And the reason that didn't happen this much this wipe is because of 3 hard-coded ones, and the fact that I have to physically FTP into the server and click something for Drac to do that, and I wasn't in town, so this wipe's been kind of trashed.
I physically deleted the River Bradley for a day to try and move it, so
yeah,
I put it back.
Nice. I don't blame you.
But I mean, just think about it this way, guys. The more little, even if you make a little base just to take the Bradley, if you want lessons, I'll be more than happy to show you how to dance a Bradley. I will do it all day, and I do it with hills, trees, rocks. It's not hard. You don't need to build a 2-story house, 3-story house to take a Bradley.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Yeah, I usually just take it when I play at the hill at launch site. You don't need anything other than a little hill. All right, so moving on to the next question. Eternal, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I ain't got nothing else.
Okay. I gotta scroll back up here. Where the hell did I say? Okay. Netra D said, "Can we work on possibly spreading out town outpost bandit?" Blah blah blah. I don't purposely make them close together like that. Believe it or not, a lot of times town is the last thing we do. Like this map we're on right now, we didn't even have town last time we ran this map, and I was like, shit, where am I going to put town? So I literally just raised an island out of the water and put town on it, like pulled the town from the last map because last minute we didn't have a town. Believe it or not, it takes a ton of work to make town. So they don't. I try to keep them spread out like that, and Outpost and Bandit are where they are just based on landmass. They're not easy to place on some maps. I try to keep town away from things, but I can't always do that. So I will try, but I can't guarantee that. Scrolling down, we'll see what we got. Evie, what happened to having M249 NPCs? Sorry, what, Drac?
I was going to poke real quick at something Forgotten Legend put just because I want to touch on this. Impersonating an admin, even if it's just a prank for friends, do not do it. Forgotten said in his statement, one of his teammates just put a note in saying, blah blah blah, too many lights. Hey, admin, don't do that. Only reason, and it's not even that we're like, oh god, this is the most terrible thing you could do, is it does two things. It takes credibility away from us because God forbid I do come and I do have to say, hey, you have too many lights in your house. I need you to pull some down. You have 500 lights in a 2x2. We can't have that. And it's not, again, it's not that I don't want you to pull pranks. Trust me, the admin team, I don't know how many times I've woken up in assless chaps. But anything else other than saying you're an admin, I would love. I would be happy with that. You want me to help facilitate something silly like that one day, and it's a buddy that that can take it. Cool. Sorry, I had to step in.
No, you're good. You're nicer than me on that. I will straight up ban somebody if I catch them doing that. Do not do that. Like he said, it ruins our credibility. B, it's a cry wolf syndrome because now when we really do tell you to do something and put a note on you or whatever, you're just, oh, it's probably just somebody pranking me or whatever. It's not cool. And then C is it causes a huge confusion among the staff because we take what each other does very seriously. We have a reporting system we have to do that, if Drek takes away your furnace or Aliana comes along and takes down some of your spotlights, they have to report that. We have a specific system where they have to report that to us because we have to be able to answer for that when that player logs back in and goes, who the hell took my lights? I'm sure you guys have seen it happen before. Hey, who nuked my base? And you've seen me personally in chat saying, I can promise you it was not an admin. Well, the way I can promise you that is because we have a system that logs when we take action against players. So the problem is the player's like, hey, I got a note in my inventory from an admin saying I should do this. And we're all looking at each other like, wasn't me, so it causes huge problems. It's not because we're cocky and like, oh, we're admins. You can't be an admin. You don't pretend to be an ad. I don't care. It's not like that. It's just, it causes a lot of confusion and a lot of problems. All right. So I lost my place. Oh, I was on EV. M249s.
Eliana also had the current update toward the end.
That's fine. I'm just scrolling, so I keep jumping ahead.
Okay.
Let me just keep scrolling. 249s at hard bases. Evie, you should know this by now, man. I just get so sick of hearing players cry. I get so sick of hearing players cry about dying. So I don't know, man. I don't even have an answer to that.
Follow up on my question real quick.
Hold on, what happened?
I was going to ask if I could follow up on my question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Spreading out. In the rare instances like this map where absolutely everything is crammed in the southeast corner, can you maybe drop the barbecue or the pool in the northwest corner early so that we have some place to warp to, so that first week when everybody's new and not veteran and not vet gold or whatever, and you're limited to 5 or 10 teleports, we can spread out?
Drake?
I mean, the barbecue is a randomly placed thing. I could definitely look at doing that. That's just something on me at that point. And then I could just set up the TP spot there, because I generally don't put the TP spot up until like the last couple days, just on purpose, because I live out of that house.
It doesn't have to be the barbecue. It
No,
can
I know.
be whatever you want to put in a warp platform, so that you can at least reach 2 corners of the map instead of like on this one where just bad luck put everything in the southeast corner.
All right. Well, next time we have a
You
map,
no-fly zone in the middle with all the SAM sites, and it made getting a it made early wipe movement unfun.
yeah, I feel you. All right. Well, I will have that on my conscience when I'm working on our maps. I never look to say, oh, look, everything's on this side of the map. I just look at making everything work. So I will definitely keep that on my conscience when I'm working on our maps. Evie, I answered your question. I don't really have any other answer for that, man. You've been around a long time. You should know what I mean. Let's see. Briscoe there. See, people are chatting. I'm getting confused here. Not a question. Trying to find where the next question would be.
I was just saying.
Oh, it is
Eliana put in
Aliana. Okay, cool.
8018.
Fix the TP courses with raid bases. I don't work on raid base plugin. I have no means of working on that plugin. You'd have to take that up with Nivix.
Well, okay, couple small things. The TP Corpse, it has always supposed to have been able to TP you into where your body was. That was supposed to be the intended purpose. Somewhere along the line that changed. We didn't know it. The bags being teleported out, that's also intended. So God forbid, something happens, you get locked out. The couple times I've seen it where the base gets finished and then a new base shows up, that would hopefully keep your bag out of the new bubble, so you're not locked out of that either.
Let me jump in real quick. So originally TP Corpse puts you into the base where you died, like it should, because that's how all TP Corpse does is when you die, the game automatically saves the coordinates of your last death. All TP Corpse does is type /. There's actually an admin command called, it does /TP cord. Like all the admins can do that command. So all TP Corpse does is /TP and then the coordinates of where your corpse was. It's a game function of where your corpse was. So that's always been that way. We get people all the time like, oh, help, I teleported back to my corpse and I got shot by the same person. Well, duh. I mean, so the problem is players discovered that when you teleport anywhere in Rust, it takes a second for everything to render in. And sometimes that'll let you clip through stuff. When I train my admins, we train them to float off the ground a little bit when they teleport a player, because if not, the player might clip through the ground and fall. So that's a known Rust thing. Whenever you teleport in Rust, you can clip through the ground. So players a long time ago discovered that if you die in a raid base and you TP corpse, you could clip yourself right into the base. And what they were doing was they were purposely flying minicopters over the raid bases, jumping out of the minicopters so they would fall to their death on the very tippy top of a hard armored raid base. And then they would purposely just TP corpse because that would put them inside the raid base. So they were literally exploiting that to get inside the raid bases without having to fight any NPCs or blow up any armored walls or nothing. So we had Nivix change TP corpse to where it teleports you outside the raid bubble. So what I'm telling you, I'm not telling you how it's working. I'm telling you how it's supposed to be working. So that's what we had. We paid Nivix money to change that plugin to put you outside the raid base so people would quit exploiting that. What it's doing now, I couldn't tell you. I haven't raided a raid base actually ever on my server, but that's what's supposed to happen. Your bag being teleported outside the bubble is another thing I paid Nivix to do, because the problem was players were dying. By the time they got back to the raid base, someone else, it had gone public, and someone else comes along and starts it, and now it's locked to them, and the original person could never get back inside to get their bag. So I paid Nivix to code it so that when you die in a raid base, it pushes your bag outside the bubble to the edge of the bubble. So the two things I just described are what it's supposed to do. If it's not doing one of those two things, it needs to be reported as a bug to Nivix in the raid-based support channel so that he can fix it, because that's what it's supposed to do.
I will.
Pushing bags, but not bodies.
Wait, what's the difference?
It's
TP corpse into raids, so you can hot drop a roof now. What you described.
Okay, well, if I catch a player doing that, first of all, they're going to get banned.
Yeah, don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
If I catch a player doing it, they're banned for sure. So matter of fact, I think I'm going to start watching my console when I see players die to NPCs. I'm going to go watch to see if they do it. So yeah, definitely do that. But yeah, we just need to report that to Nivix then so he can fix that stuff. I have no way of fixing raid-based stuff. But those are the two ways it's supposed to work. The two things I've described are what's supposed to happen.
Kel or somebody who's actively doing these bases have the ability to grab that in a recording and put it in the raid-based support channel for Nivik.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Can you guys do that, or do we need to take care of it? Okay, cool.
Either put it in a raid-based support ticket or just DM it directly to me, and I'll send it over to Nivix myself. Also, either one.
All right,
It'll get to him if you do either of those for me.
You want video footage of it happening, of me dying and then TPing corpse inside?
Yeah. If you submit a support ticket and say, "Hey, I'm about to do what T told us not to do," so that I can record it, that's fine.
Okay.
You're not going to get banned for that. Scrolling on down, this isn't a question, but I like these two comments here. I see town, love the server because the admins actually care, and Nitrix. Also, easy thing, be human if admin asks you to remove or not to do something. Don't argue or bitch about it. As a retired cop, you don't know how serious of a statement that is, because I dealt with the same thing as a cop. And it's so weird that the same type of situations happen here as staff and admins. Like these people, like they're just volunteers, man. These people are just people that have played on the server for a long time, and it may seem like all butterflies and rainbows, and oh, you guys just no clip around and get to be in God mode. Nah, it's a lot of work. It's not easy, especially when you get to the higher level admins. And don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing some of the lower level admins. Some of the new guys, Mazul and people like that. They put in a ton of work too. But when you get to the higher tiers, like Drac, Aliana, people like that, it's unfathomable the amount of work these people put into the server. We have a spreadsheet that tracks admin hours, and I can straight up tell you that some of these admins put more time, and this is active time because the plugin doesn't track AFK. So these admins put more time into the server than some people do into full-time jobs. Like it is no joke. And it's just like working retail, as nice as you can be. I mean, like, listen to Aliana, how she responds to every single support ticket. Literally the nicest person I think we've ever had on the staff. I mean, even tops Voodoo with how she responds to support tickets. And still catches flack, though. It's not an easy job. These guys and gals, they bust their ass for this server for nothing. I mean, for nothing. It destroys the game for you. I'm going to tell you straight up. Being an admin destroys this game for you. It's no fun anymore. And they do it so that you guys can have a fun place to play. So, and you also have to think too is just like, I hate to keep going back to the cop thing, but it's the same thing. If I lock you up for smoking meth, don't bitch at me. I didn't make the law. That's my job. I was hired to lock you up for smoking damn meth, and that's what I did. So it's the same thing with these admins. It's if I put out that we have a server limit of 4 searchlights and you put 15 and Aliana comes along and takes down, and don't get me wrong, we try to wait and talk to the player and let the player do it first instead of just ripping your stuff down. But if she comes along and does what, she was brought on as an admin to do, don't get mad at her. She's just doing what I've asked her to do. She didn't make the rule. So you got to just remember, these are normal people like you that are playing the game and volunteer their time and sacrifice their enjoyment to make this place a better place for the rest of you guys. So that I really appreciate those statements there. That's very true. All right, so scrolling along here. I have another question. Briscoe, why do you keep asking me questions? You're literally sitting next to an admin. Are we still preventing minicopters from flying into bases? I like tactical land. Yeah, you can't fly vehicles. You can't take vehicles into raid bases.
That only works for minicopters, my friend. People still drive cars and things like that.
Yeah. That's what
Boats.
Hold on one
Because
second.
I've been wondering that one myself because I didn't know that changed ever.
Well, one of the bases spawned on a river one time, so the only way you could actually raid the base was if you had a boat. You couldn't launch you couldn't deploy C4 or anything like that, so you had to deploy a boat to have a platform to build off of.
Let's see. Any more?
In cases like that where you're seeing bases that are spawning in areas that would make it unraidable, like we had a map one time where bases were just spawning all around Bandit Camp, and if you tried to raid them, you just got lit up. Let us know. That way we can TC block off that area.
Yeah, especially like Bandit Camp and stuff like that. I know I think it was Frodo that had that problem earlier this wipe, where there was a base that was like half in the safe zone, and I'm like, I can't do anything about it now, but once it's gone, I can try and do something about it.
Yeah, that happened to me too. I actually ended up killing like 4 of the bandit guards, and fun fact, there is no loot. If you kill the bandit guards, they don't deploy any loot. But I had that same issue.
Oh, also, I need to throw this out here. This is just something that I've seen players, I've heard people not realize. Anybody here who doesn't know that if you go to bed, sleep in a safe zone, you will wake up with nothing and you're dead.
Amen.
So, FYI, if you go to sleep in a safe zone and you have your 10,000 C4 on you, you're gonna wake up with nothing.
Yeah, that's Face Punch, not us. So
Yeah, that was a face punch change. I actually had a couple of tickets because of that. This wipe, that were like, I logged out, in Bandit or on, an Outpost, and all my stuff is gone, and I'm going, sorry, bud, that's a face punch change. But
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to make sure I said that.
Just a reminder on the I have loot that is no longer retrievable on my body type of tickets we get. We say it every meeting. We really have to have some kind of level of proof, like Shadowplay or otherwise. There's a lot of different backwards recording softwares. If you have, say, I had this thing on me and now it's not here because of said glitch, or I was on cargo and my backpack's not there anymore, or etc., we have to have proof on those kinds of things. We don't willy-nilly spawn in items for players, and I know that that's super frustrating, but it's just something that, it sets a precedence. People do try to abuse the report system all the time, and so just understand that if you are asking for any kind of thing like that, we need to have proof and a justifiable reason against our plugins as to why you don't have your stuff anymore. Not I logged out in Bandit Camp and, etc., normal face punch mechanic.
especially because most of that stuff is rust anyway. If you die on cargo ship and your backpack glitches into the ocean somewhere, that's part of rust. That's not anything we did. And I hate to be an ass when I say this comment right here, but what would you do on most servers? Because most servers don't have active, 24-hour admin team. So, sometimes you just got to suck it up and keep on playing. It's just rust. That's what it does to you. And again, if you were on most servers, you wouldn't have any way, of remedying the situation in the first place. Again, I hate to be like that because we try to be here for you, but you can't get mad. It's just rust. Sometimes you lose your shit. That's part of the game. I will also. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. I will also say that I know, and I can honestly say we've probably had in our service history 1,000 support tickets of help. My backpack disappeared. I died and my stuff disappeared. I can tell you, out of those 1,000 plus tickets that we've had like that, 0 have actually disappeared. So just keep that in mind when next time you can't find your bag and you swear the game glitched and it disappeared.
All 2 other things to that. If you say your body's disappeared, give it a minute. Wait for the bag to pop up. Because sometimes I have seen it. The body is there, not there, glitched in a box or something, and then the bag spits out once it pops back up.
Stretchy corpse.
Second, and this is just to point something out. Cargo ship is the worst thing for an admin to try and find a way to get on. For us to get on, it is a 3-pronged maneuver for one of us to land on there while you're there. It is not easy. Because all those fancy tools of Vanish and NoClip, that cargo ship keeps moving, regardless of what we're doing. And if I come out of Vanish, guess what? That ship keeps moving, no matter what I'm doing. If I have Vanish on and I NoClip, guess what? That cargo ship keeps moving. I stay exactly where I was.
We've had a long time stance that we do not offer support on cargo, oil rig, or zombie island, period, for any reason.
So when you guys are saying my stuff is gone in cargo, there's only so much stuff I can possibly do, and it's normally me sitting there going, "It's on cargo, guys. That's all I can do for you." So just realize, and it's not that I don't want to try and help if I can. It's I can't necessarily help. I lucked out the other day. I helped out. I think it was Stigmata, and his bag actually glitched into cargo, and I was able to luckily get it. So just understand, again, it's not that we don't want to help with things like this. If it's a possibility or if it's an actual thing, it's usually we can't. we have some extra tools. They don't always do everything. Kind of like the cars thing. I don't have a gravity gun to pull your car out of the water or
Yeah.
your Mini out of the water. Get
All right.
somebody who has a sedan. They could possibly push it out.
So moving on, Briscoe asked about minicopters and ray bubbles. I didn't change that actually. I guess Nivix must have. I'll talk to him about it and see. Hannah,
Just
are you
on
in
that-
here? Hannah,
Yeah. Yep.
are you trying to be like me with all the trees?
Yeah.
I see that.
They're underwater.
Okay. You should report that in the map, in our map thing, so I can fix it. It's real easy to fix.
Will do.
Dodzy, you had something?
Yeah, I was just hello. I haven't spoken yet. Just on that.
Wait, Dodzy. How do you start your
Dad.
conversations with me? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Just on that. So with the physics, with your when you die, so your body will ragdoll in certain situations. That's often client side. So that's why you get the stretchy different body locations and why you can't access all that sort of stuff. We've had ones. Well, I've had ones where occasions where I've even died and on cargo and helped gotten back there, and my body's your body's in a completely different location, but the bag spawns elsewhere. So 99 times out of 100, it's because of the physics in Rust that causes that issue. I just wanted to make that. Yeah. It's, even on a static monument, you blow yourself up or whatever, and you glitch yourself into a wall. Your body will, if it freaks out on your screen, it'll 100% of the time spawn the bag where you died.
Yeah, that's what I call the stretchy corpse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to draw attention to that. Just because you can't access the body, give it 5-10 minutes, wait for your corpse to despawn, and the bag will be exactly where you died.
Yep.
Also going to what Netra said about the end of raid completing on looting everything. Do we know if that's? I think that was a bug T.
Yeah, it was. I have an updated version of raid bases I need to install. The problem is, to do so, I have to shut off all raid bases. So let me put a post-it note on my desk to install that version in the morning, and hopefully that has the fix in it. I'm pretty sure it does. See, I'm writing right now. Update raid bases. There we go. Note on my desk, so I'll see it first thing in the morning when there's less players on. All right, so yes.
I was just gonna throw in with I was just gonna throw in with people complaining about they can't find their bags or anything, and it's more of a suggestion than anything else. And there is a free plugin that literally just puts red letters of like your body is here, like it tells you where your backpack is.
Yeah, we used to have it, but we don't use that anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, we had it a long time ago, but we're definitely not putting any more plugins on. Again, it falls back to that's part of Rust. Don't die. We want death to actually be a bad thing. We want you to lose stuff. We want you to lose Z levels. We want you to lose RP. We want you to lose your gear. Death is supposed to be a bad thing. So anything I can do to make it a bad thing, I'm absolutely. If I can make your bag disappear, I would. It's great. You should lose stuff when you die. In normal Rust, you do lose your stuff when you die because someone most likely killed you and took your stuff. So
we want death to be meaningful and scary. So it's going to be like that. Which again, I'm not going to argue when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to go PvP because I may lose my stuff, my Z levels, things like that." I'll never argue. Also, for those people that have ever seen me, I'm the first one to do an admin raid base and die 97 times. I've lost more Z levels than the combined total of probably most of our players on a server.
Oh no, Drac. I must be very close, buddy.
just remember, I've been doing raid bases longer than you have, and longer than you've been on this server.
Boom,
And I've been
Kenny,
playing with
stop
admin
doing
raid
now.
bases for a while.
Yeah, but Boom blows himself up with every explosive you
More
ever
than
had.
half the fucking damn time.
Oh, I know. But, between raid bases and normal gameplay, but no, it's we want things like that to be scary. For those of you that are old enough to have played some of the old, console games back in the late 80s, early 90s, death meant something. You may have had to go back and restart your entire game. We don't necessarily want to see it that way, but think about it when you're like, go, wait, that's Super Mario Brothers. What happens when you ran out of lives? Oh, you restarted the game. That is, if we could do that, we would do that.
No, you throw the controller at the TV and be done with it.
And then you pick it back up 6 hours later.
And that's a benefit of this particular server, is that you're not losing your stuff to someone unless it's PvP day. Most of the time you'll be able to get your stuff back. Yeah, you'll lose some bits and pieces and all that sort of stuff, but you've still got it pretty good compared to someone who's playing on a PvP server like an EU main or something like that. You still have the benefit of being able to recoup your losses, and especially because it's PvE, you've got more resources than you would ever normally have on a PvP server. Like, how many people run around with 500,000 metal frags in their inventory?
Right.
So
me.
realistically, if you want to talk about hard games, you've got it
Yeah.
pretty good with this is not a hard game in terms of, you want to talk Lost, talk like Escape from Tarkov. You walk in there and die to a hacker immediately and lose $1 million worth of stuff.
Well, I came here because
it could be
hackers,
worse.
so-
Is I guess what my point is. It could be much worse.
All right. So, with that note, we're going to move on to the final part of the meeting, which is giving away prizes, which is also the end of the meeting. I'm stepping away. I've got a bunch of family downstairs waiting on me right now. So I almost actually canceled the meeting. Like, I shouldn't even be up here, but my wife is slowly getting pissed at me. Thank you guys all for coming. We're going to give you your prizes. Don't fret. The other admins are going to handle that. But I just want to personally thank you guys all for coming, guys and gals. Thank you for playing on our server. Thanks for helping support our server. I honestly didn't expect this server to last this long. I would have been happy if it only lasted a year, and died off. The fact that it's gunning for its second year is incredible to me. So it wouldn't be here without you people. And you guys actually make this a pretty fun place and fun job. Despite some of the stress and stuff, it's actually a lot of fun dealing with all you people. I feel like I've made a lot of good friends with a lot of you, and it's a joy. It's definitely become part of my life. So I appreciate it. I'm going to go get with my
Thanks
family.
for all you do, T. We appreciate you.
You guys. I'm going to go get with my family. Hannah is going to handle organizing how to get you guys some prizes here. So
Have fun.
she will send the nudes out to everybody that I promised.